For this lesson, you need to open the sample file Annual Sales Summary 2 from your Sample Files folder. A single value within a data series is often referred to as a data point. Sometimes you'll want to emphasize a specific data point in a series. For example, you might want to color a single column differently to its neighbors to emphasize some special attribute of the data point. But color alone cannot convey why the data point is special. You'll normally want to also add a text box to the chart to explain the reason for its different color. In this lesson, we'll imagine that the company is a hotel and that 2005 was the centenary year in a competing resort, leading to an expectation of decreased sales. And to mark this, we'll color the 2005 bar orange and add an annotation saying centenary year to the bar. So let's begin by changing the colour of the 2005 bar to orange. I'll click the 2005 bar once and notice that the entire data series is selected. So I'll click the 2005 bar once more, and this time only the 2005 bar is selected. Now I need to change its colour. So I'll click Chart Tools on the ribbon, then Format, and notice there's a Shape Styles group, and one of the options there is Shape Fill. So I'll click the Shape Fill button, and I'll colour the bar orange with this colour, Orange Accent 2. The 2005 bar is now coloured orange. The legend has also changed to give a further visual prompt that the orange bar relates to 2005. Now I'm going to add a text box above and to the right of the 2005 bar, containing the text Centenary Year. So I'll click just inside the border of the chart first to activate it, and then Chart Tools on the ribbon, Format, and on the Format ribbon you can see there's an Insert Shapes group, and within that group there's a gallery. I'll open up the Shapes gallery now, and you can see an enormous number of different shapes that you can add to a chart. The shape we want is a text box, and you can find that in the Basic Shapes group. I'll click Text Box, and then click just above the orange bar on the chart. Now I'm going to type some text. The text Centenary, then the Enter key, and then Year. I've now added some text to the chart, but it doesn't look very attractive. I think I need to change the style of the text box. If the text box isn't already selected, click on the text Centenary Year to select the text box. Then Drawing Tools Format on the ribbon, and in the Shape Styles group, notice there's a Shape Styles gallery. So I'll open the Shape Styles gallery, and I think I'll choose this light blue text box. It's called Subtle Effect Blue Accent 1. I'll click, and the text box now looks a lot more attractive. But I can see that it's far too large, and it's slightly in the wrong place. But notice there are sizing handles on the corners and sides of the text box. So I'll hover over the bottom right-hand corner until I see the two-headed arrow cursor shape, and then click and drag to resize the box to the size that I want. When I have the size I want, I'll need to move the text box into a better position. So this time I want to hover over the border of the text box, but I have to avoid hovering over a sizing handle. Then I should see the four-headed arrow cursor shape, and I can click and drag and place the text box in the position I want it to be. I think if I added an arrow to this chart, it would make it even clearer that the Centenary Year text box related to the orange bar. So to do that, I'll activate the chart, if it's not already activated, by clicking just inside the border, and then Chart Tools Format on the ribbon, once again the Insert Shapes group, and the Shapes gallery, and this time I'll look in the Lines section for a suitable arrow. I think I'll take this arrow. I click, and then click and drag on the chart to draw the arrow in the position I want it to be. Now, I don't think that the arrow is very clear at the moment. It's far too light a colour. So I'll need to change its style. So if the arrow isn't already selected, click on the arrow to select it, and then Drawing Tools Format on the ribbon, and in the Shape Styles group, once again the Shape Styles Gallery. And because this is a gallery, you can hover over each of the styles and look at the chart to see a preview of how that style will look when applied to the arrow. I think I'll choose this solid black arrow style, and when I click, the style's applied. Now I'd like to move the arrow into a slightly different location. To do that, I'll hover over one of the handles at either end of the arrow, click and drag to place this just under year, and then I think I need to move the arrow, so I'll hover over the centre of the arrow to get the four-headed arrow cursor shape, and then click and drag to place it just underneath year. I think the chart now looks quite good. So all that remains for this lesson is to save your work, and I'm going to save with the new name, Annual Sales Summary 3, and as usual, I'll save to the folder above my Sample Files folder. I click the Save button, and you've now completed Lesson 520. Highlight specific data points with colour and annotations.